beginning in the book of Matthew, chapter 16 and verse 24, reading quickly. Then said Jesus unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, everybody said pursue. Let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Luke chapter 14 and verse 27 says, and whosoever doth not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth not the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Lest happily after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him. And verse 33 says, so likewise, whosoever be of you that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. Salt is good, but if the salt hath lost its savor, wherewith shall it be seasoned? It is neither fit for the land, nor yet for the dunghill. But men cast it out, and he that hath ears, let him hear. Brother Hayes, if you would pray, brother.
Lord Jesus, we come before you tonight and thank you for the privilege to be able to gather together in your name. I ask you to let the word of God speak to us tonight. We thank you for your word, Lord. Let the word fall on good ground in our hearts tonight. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Can we just magnify the name just one more time? Is anybody emphatically head over heels in love with Jesus here today? I don't ask that for a response, but I am truly in love with my Creator. That's why I'm here tonight. I came because I love Him, because I choose to serve Him, because I choose to pursue after Him, because, Brother Ben, I'm pressing toward the mark. You may be seated. Whenever you love somebody, you truly love somebody. Men, I know that many of you could look at your wife and say there was a point when you pursued after her. Because when you fall in love with someone, it's not just an interest, but something begins to shift. There is something that says, I've got to have her and I can't live without her. You desire to please them. You desire to be with them. You stay up late at night talking on the phone, running up the phone bill. You fall asleep listening to one another sleep at night. And you wake up in the morning and you guys she's snoring, but you'll never let her know that she was snoring on the phone because you love her and you want to be with her. When I saw my wife that night, I'd known her from some time, but when I saw her at that youth rally in Tioga, Louisiana in 2015, I made a decision to pursue her. And there was something in my spirit that clicked. And I said, Lord, I've got to do something. I cannot let anyone get the jump on me. I've got this night to make a move. So I did what any young Louisiana guy would do. I invited her to a family crawfish boil the following day. Because if she wasn't interested in me, she would have been interested in the crawfish, and we get around to that part later. But there was an interest. There was a drawing. But I wonder if anybody tonight is emphatically head over heels in love with Jesus. There's an interest. There's a drawing. There's something in your chest that says, I've got to have more of Him. I want to know Him intimately. I want to walk where He's walking. There has to be, I want to walk more intimately than I've ever walked with Him before. I'm not satisfied just being in His proximity, but I've got to know Him. But if you love Him, there has to be a denial of oneself. There has to be a denial of this. And there's a cost associated with this. In Luke chapter 14, which we just read, there was a multitude in proximity to Jesus. They were content to be where the goosebumps were. They were happy to be where the miracles were. They were there taking selfies, if you will, young people. They were telling their friends about how good church was over the weekend. They were name dropping. Yeah, bro, I was with Jesus. I was with the disciples. I was there when he dispersed the bread and the loaves and the fishes. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. But yet, we see that only a few were willing to carry the cross. Others wanted what he had to offer. But who's willing to take up his own cross? Because he said, if you're going to pursue me, you have to be willing to pay the price. This young preacher tonight, I stand among you tonight with humility in my spirit. Please understand, I stand before you preaching to this man right here. But if I'm going to walk after him, there has to be some cost associated with this thing. I stand among you with a greater passion and a burden for this generation, for this church, and for this hour. And I believe that we are the last days generation. I believe with all my heart that this is the generation that will see the rapture of the church. Not because of what we've done, not because of prayers that I prayed, but because of a generation that's gone before us. And because he's coming back for a glorious church. He's coming back for a revival church. He's coming back for a bride. And when he comes back, he's looking for a bride without spot or blemish. He's looking for a church that walks in authority and power and demonstration. A church that would occupy till he comes. A church that's pursuing after the mark. But hear me, young man, young lady, elder saint of God, hyphen member. In this day and age, with all this crazy doctrine and these crazy religious persuasions and all the confusion in this world, with every lie of hell pulling at this generation, we cannot stand to straddle the line. We can no longer walk straddling the fence. We've got to make our minds up and say, I'm taking up the cross and I'm going to pay the price because he died for me. He's worth the pursuing. Young person, this world seeks to destroy you. It seeks to wash out the truth that you know, that you hold dear. The draw of this world wants to consume you. But there is another voice speaking over this generation, calling over this generation, and it's saying it's time to take up the cross. It's time in 2023 to pay the price. And although there was a multitude that heard the call of Jesus that day, we read of those disciples. Some were tax collectors, some fishermen, all walks of life, all backgrounds, all social statuses. Yes, they had quirks. Yes, they had their own issues. Yes, they had their own insecurities and doubts. They got it wrong sometimes. They made mistakes. They said things out of place at times. But one thing that we know and we can read in this word is that they were cross bearers. They were deniers of self. They said they didn't walk to be seen, but they walked that he would be seen, that he would be glorified. I want to be a cross bearer in my generation. And we read of some of those in the early church in the book of Acts. As they were brought before leaders of their day, they were known as them that turned their world upside down. How was it that they turned their generation upside down? Was it their speech? Was it their influence? It wasn't their fancy suits. It wasn't their education. I believe in education. It wasn't their social status. But it was that they were cross bearers everywhere they went. Everywhere they went, their life pointed to Jesus. It wasn't their ability. It wasn't their talent. But the hand of God was on them, because they said, I'm willing to lay it all down if I can take up my cross. Your cross and my cross, they may look different. Your cost and my cost may look different, because your cross is personal. My cross is personal. Jesus said, take up your cross. It's constructed to the right dimensions. It's fashioned specifically to fit you. It's fashioned specifically to fit me. And yes, we can bear one another's burdens, but we cannot bear one another's cross, because it's my cross to bear. It's your cross to bear. Pastor can't carry my cross. I love my pastor, and if he could, I'm sure he would, but he cannot carry my cross. My mama can't carry my cross. My daddy can't carry my cross. My wife can't carry my cross. I've got to carry Peyton Bradford's cross. I've got to pay my cost, because I can't live a crucified life until I carry a cross. I can't say I'm his if I'm not willing to carry my cross. I am not a Christ follower if I don't bear the cross to prove it. But my cross pales in comparison to the prize which I strive for, Brother Ben. It pales in comparison to the mark which I press toward. Because the cross is my cross, but Jesus is my reward. The price that I pay, it's all going to pale in comparison in the end. When I see his face, it's going to be worth it all. And he's coming soon, church. He's coming soon. Don't quit now. You can do it. You can do it. Be a cross bearer. I feel the Lord is calling us deeper than ever, as an individual, as a church body. But it's predicated on whether we are willing to pay the price. Young man, young lady, there is a deeper walk and a greater demonstration. But are you willing to carry the cross? Because before I can ever take up my cross, before I can ever take up Peyton Bradford's cross, there's some other things that I've got to lay down. When my hands are full with other things, I cannot carry this cross, because I don't know what your cross looks like. Only God and you know that. Your cross is personal, but God is looking for someone that will say, I want to walk with him more closely than before. I know it's not going to be easy. Maybe you'll have to lay some things aside. But is there anyone that finds him worthy of the cost? Is he worth the pursuit? Is he worthy of the price to be paid? If it means turning off the television for a little while to find a place in prayer, if it means assessing my hobbies and the way I spend my time and the things that occupy my attention, if it means hitting the delete button, if it means cutting that relationship out of my life, maybe he's calling you into a deeper place in prayer than ever before. And while everyone else is out and having a good time, he's calling you just a little deeper, just a little deeper. I'm calling you to a place on your knees. Maybe it's while everyone else is sitting around that dinner table, you're at home fasting and praying and believing because you're hungry for more of God than you've ever had before. Maybe you've been, like Pastor was preaching about recently, you've been walking in ankle-deep water, but there's that call to the deeper that you've never walked in before. But it's going to cost me something. It's going to cost you something. It's going to cost this generation something. And the truth of the matter is, It may very well cost you everything, but He's worth it today, because He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. Are there any Christ followers here today? Are there any cross bearers today? As musicians come, I'm closing. But to take up one's cross is to be like Him. It's to be under the shadow of His cross. It's to walk where others no longer see me. They no longer hear the words that this preacher speaks. They no longer see you, young musician, you, young praise team member. They no longer see you, Bible study teacher, prayer warrior, door greeter, whatever it is that God has called you to do. But now, when they see you, they see a cross that points to Him. But if Jesus wasn't greater than His cross, how could I ever be found worthy to escape my cross? Andrew the apostle, I read according to tradition, is said to have been preaching the gospel in the Greek city of Petrus. He had boldly opposed the idolatry of the Greeks and had seen the overthrowing of a pagan temple in the midst of a great revival in that region. And as he went to address the governor, he was commanded to either stop preaching this truth, stop preaching this precious gospel, or he would immediately be fashioned to a cross. But Andrew did not waver, but instead he responded with the words, I would not preach the honor and glory of the cross if I feared the death of the cross. And as they took him away to be crucified, where many men would cry out or even faint for fear of that gruesome death, Andrew declared these words, O cross, most welcome and long anticipated, I come to you with a willing mind, with joy and desire. Since I am a follower and a student of the one who died on you, I have always loved you and sought to embrace you. Andrew, an apostle, a great revival pioneer of the New Testament church, preached a mighty revival in Greece, a pagan region, saw many miracles and signs and wonders, no doubt. But his call was not bigger than his cross. Young man, it's not about a pulpit. Young lady, it's not about a platform. It's not about being seen or recognized. It's not about us, but it's about others seeing Him. And when I bear the cross, I'm conformed to His likeness. But is there anyone here who's been weighing the cost? You know where God is calling you. You know, and you can see the mark. You can see the shark-infested waters. And you know the price to be paid. But is there anyone that says, there's no price too great, I must be a cross bearer? Is there anyone that says, Lord, I'm so in love with you, wherever you go, I'm going to follow. It's not about the music. It's not about the hype. It's not about when the atmosphere is right on a Wednesday night. But I'm going to carry my cross on Monday, on Tuesday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday. When things aren't going right, I'm going to carry my cross. Today is the day to make some new and fresh commitments. Today is a day to let Him know that He's worth the cost. He's the one we are pursuing. It's time to fall in love with Jesus all over again. It's time to say, I'm laying everything down And with open arms, I'm going to embrace the cross. These altars are open. Today, I don't know what your cross entails. I don't know what the cost is for you. But I can't carry your cross. You can't carry mine. But this generation has been called to walk in greater demonstration. But we have to die out to self. We have to stop weighing the price and the cost. And we have to make up our mind. Lord, I love you with everything within me. If it means paying the price, you're worthy of it all.